Right now, we are living through a moment where visual ideas can be generated incredibly fast. AI tools can produce layouts, illustrations, and even letter forms in seconds. But if you have ever designed lettering, you know something interesting. Generating letter forms is not the hard part. In fact, I always say that anybody can draw letter forms. The hard part is knowing what to keep, what to change, what to refine. It's understanding spacing, rhythm, balance, structure. In other words, it's craft. And that's why this moment in design is so interesting, because the faster tools become, the more valuable that human judgment becomes. If you're new here, my name is Martina Flor. I'm a lettering designer, author, and educator, and I've spent the last 15 years working with typography, lettering, and visual communication. During that time, I worked with global brands, thousands of designers around the world, and spent a lot of time observing how creative fields evolve when technology shifts. And right now, we are living through one of those shifts again. In this episode, I want to explore three things with you. First, why technological revolutions rarely eliminate craft. They usually redefine where craft lives. Second, what craft actually means in design beyond the romantic idea of handmade work. And third, why lettering is one of the disciplines that makes the value of craft especially visible today. And if this topic resonates with you, if you're someone who loves lettering, but you're not quite sure how to turn that interest into something more structured and create work you're proud of, I should mention something before we go deeper. Next week, I'm running my free yearly workshop series called The Lettering Design Roadmap, where I walk designers through how lettering skills develop, how they translate into professional opportunities, and how you can start building work around them. Thousands of designers join this series every year, and if you're curious about lettering design as something you can incorporate in your creative work, you can register at martinaflor.com/masterclass, and I'm gonna add the link below. All right, let's get back to the topic. Design tools have never been more powerful than they are today. In the past few years alone, the speed at which we can generate visual content has increased dramatically. Artificial intelligence can produce hundreds of variations in seconds, layouts, illustrations, typographic compositions. Things that once require long experimentation now happen instantly. For many designers, illustrators, and creatives, this shift creates uncertainty. If machines can generate ideas faster than we can draw them, what happens to the skills we have spent years developing? What happens to typography? What happens to drawing? What happens to the careful, slow decisions that used to define creative work? These are reasonable questions, but when we step back and look at history, we start to see a pattern. Technological revolutions rarely eliminate crafts. What they tend to do instead is to move craft somewhere else, and often they make it more valuable. Let's look at the moment from history that illustrates this. In the 15th century, Johannes Gutenberg introduced the printing press. Before the printing press, books were copied manually by scribes. Every page was written by hand, letter by letter. You can imagine how slow and labor-intensive that process was. When printing arrived, suddenly text could be reproduced quickly and at scale. For people whose livelihood depended on copying manuscript, this must have felt like an existential threat. But something interesting happened. Calligraphy didn't disappear. Instead, it evolved. As printed text became the dominant way to reproduce information, calligraphy transformed into an artistic discipline. It became valued precisely because it carried something printed could not replicate: the unmistakable trace of the human hand, the gesture, the individuality, the uniqueness, the presence of the person who made it. And a similar shift happened centuries later with the arrival of desktop publishing in the 80s. When computers suddenly made typography accessible to millions of people, some designers feared typographic expertise will become irrelevant. But the opposite happened, because while tools became easier to use, the difference between average typography that you could find in the copy shop around the corner and excellent typography became more visible than ever. Designers who understood spacing, hierarchy, rhythm, and proportion stood out precisely because those qualities could not be automated. Technology changed the tools. It didn't eliminate the need for craft. And today we are watching that same pattern repeat itself again. To understand why craft still matters, we need to clarify something important. The word craft is often misunderstood. Sometimes people hear it and imagine something nostalgic, traditional techniques, handmade tools, or a natural resistance to technology. But craft isn't about rejecting the tools. Craft is about developing a refined relationship with the work itself. In design, craft lives in the subtle decisions that shape a piece. The balance of a composition, the rhythm of spacing, the tension between forms, the proportion of a letter, the weight of a stroke. These decisions might appear small, but collectively they determine whether a piece of work feels average or exceptional. Tools can generate options, but tools cannot decide which option communicates the right tone, the right balance, or the right relationship between form and meaning. That decision still belongs to the designer and the creative. And interestingly, the more options tools generate, the more valuable that decision becomes, because it's a world of options and you need to discern between all of them. So the challenge is no longer generating the possibilities. The challenge is choosing wisely among them, among a sea of possibilities. And that's where craft lives. And this is why lettering is such a powerful discipline. Lettering reveals the importance of craft very clearly. Many people think of lettering as decoration and something nicely written or drawn, something expressive or stylistic. But lettering is actually a very rigorous design discipline. When you design letter forms, you're not just drawing shapes. Letters belong to a system. They must remain readable. They must relate to each other in proportion and rhythm. The moment the letter is not well drawn, it becomes difficult to read. And that's the main objective of a lettering piece, to be read, to communicate a message. And that constraint is what makes lettering fascinating. Within that system, there's still room for expression. A word can feel playful, elegant, dramatic, or quiet, depending on how the letter forms are shaped. And that's the definition of lettering, which is storytelling through letter forms. And this tension between structure and expression is exactly where craft lives. And something interesting happens when designers and creatives practice lettering. They develop a sharper typographic eye. They begin to notice subtle differences in spacing, in weight, in proportion. They start to understand how very small adjustments can dramatically influence the tone of a piece. Those skills, they extend far beyond lettering itself. You can apply it to any other thing that you do. And there's another reason why craft is becoming more important right now. We are living in a moment when visual content is being produced at an unprecedented scale. Every platform, every feed, every screen is filled with images competing for attention. And in this environment, standing out is not simply about producing more content. It's about producing work that feels distinctive, work that carries authorship. And this is precisely where lettering designers and artists have something unique to offer, because lettering combines a structure with personal expression, and it has that beautiful overlaps. It allows designers to create visual work that feels unmistakably theirs and human. A custom wordmark or a typographic illustration has personality. It reflects decisions made by a person, not just generated by a tool. And brands understand this. Companies increasingly look for visual identities that feel distinctive and recognizable. They want typography that communicates character and tone. They no longer want to use that sans serif font that everybody uses in their logotype. And that is something designers who develop craft can offer. Technology will continue to evolve. Tools will become faster, smarter, and more powerful. But something else happens at the same time. As the speed of tools increases, carefully crafted work becomes more rare, and rarity creates value. The designers who stand out in the coming years will not necessarily be the ones producing the most work or moving the fastest. They will be the ones who develop the ability to make thoughtful decisions, to refine ideas carefully, and create work that has a clear point of view and a uniqueness to it. In other words, the ones that cultivate craft. And if this conversation made you curious about lettering as a discipline, or you have been keeping lettering in the back of your mind all this time, and you want to learn how these skills develop in a structured way, this is exactly what we explore in my free workshop series called the Lettering Design Roadmap. In that workshop, I walk you through how the skill of lettering actually develops, what designers often miss when they start learning the craft, and how those skills can open professional opportunities. You can register on martinafro.com/masterclass, and I will leave you the link down below. And I'd love to hear from you. Do you feel that AI is changing the way you think about craft? Or has it pushed you to refine your skills even more? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.